This is the Sakar Murli of the 13th of February 2024. Essence. Sweet children, become bodiless and remember the Father. Remain stable in your original religion and you will receive strength. You will remain happy and healthy and your battery will continue to become full. Question. By knowing what it is that is fixed in the drama, how do you children remain constantly unshakable? Answer. You know that the bombs, etc., that have been made will definitely be used. Only when destruction takes place will our new world come. This is eternally fixed in the drama. Everyone has to die. You have the happiness that you will shed your old bodies and take birth in a kingdom. You watch the drama as detached observers. There is no question of fluctuating. There is no need to cry. Om Shanti. The Father sits here and asks you children, why was the original eternal deity religion called the Hindu religion? You should find the answer to that. At first there was just the original eternal deity religion. Then, when they became vicious, they could no longer call themselves deities. So instead of calling themselves deities of the original eternal religion, they started to call themselves the original eternal Hindus. They still kept the words original and eternal. They just changed the name deities and called themselves Hindus. At that time, when those of Islam came from outside, they used the name of the Hindu religion. At first, there wasn't even the name Hindustan. So you should understand it as the original eternal Hindu deity religion. Generally, they are righteous souls. Not all of them are of the eternal religion. Those who come later would not be said to belong to the original and eternal religion. Among Hindus too, there must be some who come later. You should tell the original eternal Hindus that theirs was the original eternal deity religion. Say, you were the original eternal Satipathan beings, and then, while taking rebirth, you became Tamoprathan. You have now to become Satipathan once again by having the pilgrimage of remembrance. They will like this medicine. Baba is the surgeon. You should give this medicine to those who like it. You should remind those who belong to the original eternal deity religion of this, just as you children have now been reminded. Baba has explained how you have become Tamoprathan from Satoprathan. You now have to become Satoprathan from Tamoprathan. You children are becoming Satoprathan through the pilgrimage of remembrance. Those who are the original eternal Hindus will become the real deities, and they will also become those who worship the deities. In that too, those who are devotees of Shiva, Lakshmi and Narayan, Radha and Krishna, and Rama and Sita, are devotees of the deities and belong to the deity clan. You have now remembered that those who were the Sun dynasty then became the Moon dynasty. Therefore you should find those devotees. You should ask those who come here to understand to fill in a form. There should definitely be forms at the main centres for people to fill in. You would give a lesson from the beginning to whomever comes, because they don't know the Father. The first and main thing to explain to them is, you don't know your senior Father. Originally you belong to the Father from beyond. You came here and now belong to a worldly Father. You have forgotten your Father from beyond. The unlimited Father is the Creator of heaven. None of these innumerable religions exist there. So everything should depend on the forms they fill in. Although some children explain very well, they don't have any yoga at all. They don't become bodiless or remember the Father. They are unable to stay in remembrance. Although they know that they explain very well and that they even open museums, etc., they still have very little remembrance. It requires effort to consider yourself to be a soul and to continue to remember the Father. The Father gives you a warning. Do not think that you can convince others very well. What is the benefit of that? Okay, so what if they have become spinners of the discus of self-realization? Here you have to become bodiless. While performing actions, consider yourselves to be souls. It is souls that carry out all tasks through their bodies. Those who don't know how to remember this, or don't even know how to think about these things, are called Buddhas. You are unable to remember the Father. You don't have the strength to do service. How can a soul receive strength without having remembrance? How can his battery become full? Instead of moving along, that soul will come to a halt. He will have no power. It is said, religion is might. Only when a soul remains stable in his original religion can he receive strength. There are many who don't know how to remember the Father. You can tell this from their faces. They would remember everyone else, but would be unable to have remembrance of the Father. Only by having yoga will you receive strength. Only by having remembrance will you have a lot of happiness and health. Then in your next birth you will receive shining new bodies. When you souls become pure, you will receive pure bodies. It is said this gold is 24 carat, and so the jewellery made from it is also 24 carat. At this time, all are 9 carat gold. Those who are Sato-Pradhan are said to be 24 carat gold, and those who are Sato are said to be 22 carat gold. These things have to be understood very well. The Father explains to you, first of all, you have to ask them to fill in a form so that you can tell to what extent they respond to you and how much they have imbibed. Even then it comes to, do they stay on the pilgrimage of remembrance? Only by having the pilgrimage of remembrance do you become Sato-Pradhan from Tamo-Pradhan. Those are physical pilgrimages of devotion, whereas this pilgrimage is spiritual. Here it is souls that go on pilgrimage, whereas in other pilgrimages both the spirit and the body go on pilgrimage. By remembering the Purifier Father, you souls receive that sparkle. If a student has to be shown and be impressed, Baba sometimes enters someone. Both the mother and father help, sometimes in knowledge and sometimes in yoga. The father is always bodiless. He has no awareness of the body. So the father can help you with the strength of both knowledge and yoga. If you have no yoga, how can you receive that strength? It can be understood whether someone is yogi or jnani. Baba explains new things day by day about yoga. Previously, he didn't explain this. Consider yourselves to be souls and remember the Father. Baba now uplifts you so powerfully that the relationship of brother and sister is removed and there is just the vision of brotherhood. We souls are brothers. This is very elevated vision. This effort has to continue until the end. When you become Sattva-Pradhan, you will shed your bodies. Therefore, increase your efforts as much as possible. This is even easier for old people. We now definitely have to return home. Young ones would never have such thoughts. Old people are in the stage of retirement. It is understood that you now have to return home. So you have to understand all of these aspects of knowledge. The tree continues to grow. As it grows, the whole tree becomes ready. Thorns are changed, and a small new tree of flowers has to be created. It will become new and then become old again. At first the tree is small, and it then continues to grow. It grows until the end when it has thorns. At first there are flowers, the very name is heaven, and then later that fragrance and strength no longer remain. There is no fragrance in thorns. Ordinary flowers don't have that much fragrance. The Father is the master of the garden and also the boatman. He takes everyone's boat across. The children who are wise and sensible are able to understand how he takes the boat across and where he takes you. Those who don't understand don't even make effort. It is number-wise. Some aeroplanes travel faster than sound. No one even knows how a soul flies. A soul flies even faster than a rocket. There is nothing as fast as a soul. They put such fuel in those rockets that they are able to fly fast. They have prepared so many armaments for destruction. They even carry bombs on the steamers and aeroplanes. At this time, they have made all the preparations in advance. They write in the newspapers, "We cannot say that we will not use those bombs." They continue to say that it is possible that they will use those bombs. All of these preparations are being made. Destruction definitely has to take place. It is impossible for the bombs not to be used and for destruction not to take place. A new world is definitely needed for you. This is fixed in the drama. This is why you should have a lot of happiness. It is said, death to the prey and happiness for the hunter. According to the drama, everyone has to die. Because you children have the knowledge of the drama, you do not fluctuate, but observe everything as detached observers. There is no need to cry. Everyone has to shed their body at their own time. You souls know that you will take your next birth in a kingdom. I will become a prince. The soul knows this, and therefore sheds a body and takes another. Even a snake has a soul. It would say, I'm shedding one skin and taking another. At some time, even that will shed its body and become a baby snake again. Children do take birth. Everyone has to take rebirth. All of these things have to be churned. The main thing is to remember the Father with a lot of love. Just as children cling to their mother and father, in the same way, you souls also have to cling firmly to the Father with your intellect's yoga. Each of you has to check yourself as to what extent you are imbibing knowledge. There is the example of Narad. Devotees cannot become deities until they take this knowledge. It is not just a question of marrying Lakshmi, it is a question of understanding. You children know that when you were Sattva-Pradhan, you ruled over the world. You now have to remember the Father in order to become Sattva-Pradhan again. You have been making effort every cycle to have real yoga in order to accumulate real power. Each one of you can understand to what extent you are able to explain to others, and to what extent you are emerging out of body consciousness. I, this soul, leave one body and take another. I, this soul, work through this body. These are my organs. We are all actors playing our parts. This is a huge play in this unlimited drama. All the actors in this drama are number-wise. We can understand who the main actors are in this, who the first, second and third grades are. You children have come to know the beginning, the middle and the end of the drama from the Father. You receive this knowledge of creation from the Creator. The Creator comes and explains the secrets of himself and his creation. This is his chariot that he has entered. You would therefore say that there are two souls in this one. It is a common thing to invoke a departed soul and offer that soul food when he comes. Previously, many used to come in this way and be asked questions. They have now become Tamo-Pradhan. Even now, some are able to tell you who they were in a previous birth. No one is able to tell you about the future. They can only tell you about the past. Not everyone can be trusted in this. Baba says, sweet children, you now have to remain in silence. When you become strong in knowledge and yoga, you will become firm and solid. At the moment, Many of you children are innocent. The deities who were the residents of Bharat were very solid. They were overflowing with wealth. Now they are empty. They were solvent, whereas you have become insolvent. You know what Bharat used to be and what it has now become. People will die of starvation because there will be no grain, water, or anything. Some places will continue to be flooded, and other places will not have a drop of water. At this time there are the clouds of sorrow. In the Golden Age there will be the clouds of happiness. Only you children understand this play. No one else knows it. It is very good to explain using the badge. This one is a limited physical father, whereas that one is the unlimited father from beyond. Only once at this confluence age does this father give you the unlimited inheritance and create the new world. This world is iron-aged, and it definitely will become golden-aged. You are now at the confluence. If your heart is clean, your desires are fulfilled. Ask yourself every day, did I do anything bad? Did I have any vicious thoughts inside me about anyone? Did I remain in the intoxication of knowing who I am? Or did I waste my time in gossiping? The Father's order is, remember me alone. If you do not have remembrance, you are disobeying the Father. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children. Love, remembrance and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bap-Dada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dana. 1. Stay in the intoxication of knowledge and yoga and keep your heart clean. Do not waste your time in waste thoughts or in gossiping. 2. We souls are brothers. We now have to return home. Practice this very firmly. Become bodiless, stabilize yourself in your original religion, and remember the Father. Blessing. May you be filled with divinity and develop the power of truth by recognizing your own true form and that of the Father. The children who recognize their own form and accurately know the true introduction of the Father can develop the power of truth by being aware of that form. Every thought of theirs is then constantly filled with truth and divinity. There is the experience of divinity in their every thought, word, act, relationship and connection. There is no need to prove the truth. When there is the power of truth, the soul continues to dance in happiness. Slogan. Do the service of giving sakash, and any problems will easily run away. Om Shanti.